Hey there, everybody. Brian King here. This was something that I taught a pair of parents that have two ADHD boys. I taught them this last week. And it occurred to me that I don't think I've shared it with you yet, so I want to make sure that I do. I recently read a book called The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins. And I've put the title in the comments section here so you can look it up yourself. It's a very simple and yet powerful strategy that this woman found and was very generous enough to put it inside a book. I highly recommend you pick it up. And I've already used this strategy with great success, and it has particular usefulness for people with executive function challenges, especially those with ADHD, speaking from experience here. And the way the 5-second rule works is pretty simple. And she used a lot of neuroscience research to back up the effectiveness of this principle. So basically, the foundation for this is to understand, and I'm sure you're self-aware enough to realize this, is often we get an impulse to do something. We want to try something new, we want to take some kind of action, and then we immediately begin sabotaging ourselves. We start talking about all the reasons we shouldn't do it, why it's not really that important, why it's going to be too hard, how we didn't really want to do it anyway, and we do nothing. Does that sound familiar? Sure as hell does to me. And I see my boys and my clients do it all the time. But what Mel Robbins discovered is that by interrupting that pattern, so you get the impulse you want to do something, the moment that voice kicks in, or better yet, before that voice even has a chance, you just begin to count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then you take action. By doing that countdown, you completely silence that self-sabotaging voice that normally kicks in. So the only thing you have left is the impulse to act and then the action you take to begin the process. But let's say that you have an impulse to do something that's a little self-defeating. Let's say you want to diet. You know you're supposed to eat a carrot instead of the bonbon that's sitting in the fridge, why it's there in the first place. I won't even ask you to explain. But you know you're supposed to eat something healthier, but you get that impulse. Then you start having the self-sabotaging voice about why it's okay to have the piece of chocolate, why it's okay to have that piece of cake, because you've done good this week. So you deserve a reward. And next thing you know, you're eating half the cake and your diet is completely derailed. In that moment, you can use the 5-second rule as well. You get the impulse to eat the cake, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, eat the carrot. Because you totally silence that voice. Just those 5 seconds buys you the opportunity to take action in a more positive way. Now, let me tell you where in particular I found this to be useful as well. One of the things that happens, and this is what I was explaining to the parents earlier this week, is they kept referring to their sons as lazy. My kids are lazy. They're not motivated. They don't want to do anything. They just want to sit on their screens all day long. They don't want to do their homework. They don't want to do their chores. Well, I have ADHD as well, pretty severely. Just ask my wife, poor soul, and my 3 boys. And what I've noticed, and it's just through my own self-exploration and through talking with my boys and my clients, is it isn't laziness. It isn't lack of motivation. It's an executive function challenge. What people who don't have these challenges don't realize is that you have intact executive functions that allow you to create an organized plan quickly and take action. Even to get off the couch and go get a glass of water requires a plan. It begins with establishing a goal. I want to quench this thirst, or I want to get a glass of water. So I must get up off the couch. I must walk across the room. I must open the fridge and so on. All of these steps that need to be completed instantaneously enter your mind the moment you set a goal. If you have executive function challenges, more often than you realize, even taking the first step can be a challenge. It's called task initiation. Kids that have a hard time starting their homework, starting their chores, whatever it is, often have a task initiation deficit. It's not that they don't want to, it's not that they're not invested in it, but their brain is stuck in getting started. So kids that appear lazy, kids that appear unmotivated, probably have planning issues. They don't know how to quickly create the plan in their mind and then take action on it. So they do one of two things. They BS themselves and they say, oh, I don't really want to. Oh, that's boring. Oh, it's stupid. Or why don't you do it? What they're really saying is, I have no clue how to execute a plan to accomplish what you just asked me to do. Or they'll do this. Can you do it for me? I don't know how. I don't understand. I don't get it. Same reason. I have no idea how to formulate a plan for this, let alone take action on it. Would you please rescue me, use your intact executive functions, and do it on my behalf? And the response is no. If you're having difficulty doing this, let's figure out where the hiccups are and let's put a plan in place. But that's a different conversation. The way the 5-second rule works in this instance is to get in the way of that self-sabotaging inner script. So you know you have executive function challenges. You know you have a hard time creating a plan. But instead of saying, oh, I know I really want to carry this out. I know I really want to do this, but if I do, I'll look stupid. I don't like asking for help. I'll be embarrassed. My friends don't ask for help. Why should I have to ask for help? Or I really didn't want to do it anyway, so I don't care. Maybe somebody else will take care of it if I blow it off long enough. And because of that, they get stuck in something called inertia. Inertia meaning you've been sitting still so long that not only do you have the executive functioning deficit that makes it hard to get started, but because you've been stagnant for so long, it's even harder to get started. But when you think about getting started and start self-sabotaging, that's when the 5-second rule kicks in. You say, I really need to get off this couch and start my homework. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's the first step I need to take? Because you skipped over all that negative self-talk, you can then end the 5 seconds with the first action you need to take. And let's say you don't know what the first step is, but you at least know to ask the question. What's the first step I need to take? Heck, I don't know. Who can I ask? I can ask Mom to review the instructions with me. I can ask the teacher if I'm still at school. I can contact a classmate. What you really must do for yourself is short circuit that inner talk that prevents you from taking action on your own behalf, that turns you into a fear monger, that makes it terrifying for you to get the resources you need to be successful. That's no way to live. And just by using this simple countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, you can totally put the wrench down or the clamp down on that inner voice and buy yourself the time to take some kind of action to either figure it out for yourself, get some kind of help, go to Google, do the research, whatever it is, as long as it ends with you taking some kind of action that moves you forward. So I want to encourage you to get the book. In fact, I highly recommend the audiobook because Mel puts a lot of extra stuff in the audiobook that is not in the written version. Extra stories, extra examples of how people she's shared the strategy with have applied it. And I suspect you're going to find many examples of other ways to use it besides the ones that I've just highlighted. But since ADHD is what I know, and these are the people that I serve, I immediately thought about its application there, and I want to make sure I share it with you too. If you want to find out about more of the strategies I teach, and there are a bonanza of them, stop by my website, thecompassionatedad.com, and see what else I can do for you. In the meantime, enjoy this. If there are other people in your life that can benefit from it, and pretty much that's everybody, so feel free to share this. And if you have questions or comments, feel free to comment. We'll keep the conversation going. Thank you so much for watching. I value your time. This has been Brian. We'll talk again soon.